Hi, this is Anita from Real Estate Crunch. And today I'm here with Olivia again from Curbio. We had her on before. Olivia, thank you so much for joining us again.
Yeah, happy to be back.
First of all, maybe you can introduce Curbio. Kind of tell us a little bit about, what you do, why you do it, and where you're doing it. I know you don't do it exactly everywhere in the United States, but in most major cities or markets.
Yeah, so since we last spoke, we've definitely expanded into new markets. We're now in 45 major metro areas in the US. But what Curbio does is we are a pre-sale home improvement company. We'll partner with selling clients and their realtors to get the home fixed up for market. That might be just staging in some paint. It might be a bigger remodel to make a bigger profit on the property, but we can do anything with no minimums and maximums. And the best part is the seller doesn't pay anything until the house sells.
Great. That's really the good part of it. Especially we talked about this before. If somebody like, you inherit a house and you just don't have time for it, I could see where Curbio could be great for that. Or you're moving and you don't have time. It seems like just really a great service for someone who wants to be able to sell their home and get the best value out of their money.
Definitely. And I think when you talk to people that have sold a home, very few people don't include fixing the home up as part of the process. It's some people start on it earlier, some savvy sellers, and unfortunately, sometimes they'll probably spend more than they needed to, but very few people do nothing to the home before selling. So it's a really great way to just tick it off your list, hand it over to experts, and wrap it into the closing costs.
Well, great. We're going to put a link, in the description of this podcast. We'll put a link in case anyone's interested, would like to see Curbio and see what you do. What's the best way for them to contact you if they're interested?
Yeah, so you could just go to curbio.com and you can click request an estimate, and one of our team members will reach out. And you can also download the Curbio mobile app, which I'll talk a little bit about with you today, Anita. It's free in the Apple and Android stores, and you can play around with your properties, see what things would cost to update them, as well as how that would affect the sale price.
So would they just search for Curbio or how would they find that app?
Yep, it's just called Curbio.
Oh, great. I'm going to download that. Sounds like a lot of fun. So basically people just go on there and do they photograph their property or how does that app work? Can you tell us a little bit about it or?
Yeah, definitely. So this is one of our big initiatives of the year. We went to market with it earlier this year. And the mobile app really is just a way to put knowledge in the hands of home sellers and real estate agents to understand what updates should cost. Our pricing is very competitive across the United States, so it gives you a really great idea of what would a kitchen remodel cost, or how much would it cost to replace my roof in Anaheim, California. And there's a few functions. The main one is to build an instant estimate. So you can punch your address in, it'll pull up that address using Google data and tell us a little bit more about the house, depending on the project. And then you can go and start to build your estimate. So things like kitchen remodel, for example, you'll tell us if it's going to be a full remodel, so like a gut and replace versus a refresh where it's just more of a light update, painting cabinets, etc. And the size of the kitchen roughly, is it this shape, is it L shaped, does it have a big island? And we kind of use that data to pull together a very accurate general estimate. And then from there, if you're wanting to actually sell and put this into action and work with Curbio, you can request a proposal from us, and one of our home improvement consultants will reach out. You do have to be working with a real estate agent to get the estimate process started. So if you don't have a realtor, we can actually refer you to one in our network, or you can just bring your realtor into the process. So that's the estimate app. And then there's also a really cool feature for inspections. So every home goes under an inspection process. And for those traditional under contract inspections, the real estate agent can upload the inspection report and get instant pricing from Curbio so that they can negotiate, or if they want to actually execute the repairs, they can kick that over to Curbio and we'll get that done within a few business days. So really helpful tool, as well as pre-sale inspections, which we're starting to see a little bit more uptick in as people want to do their diligence so that they can have a smooth closing. Curbio is actually offering a free pre-sale inspection through one of our partners. So you can request that in the mobile app, and You can also get a set of recommendations from our team on what will help sell the house for more. So that's what we've been up to. And the mobile app's really cool. You should check it out.
Oh, I will, definitely, I will. But does it only work for the markets that you're presently serving, or does it work anywhere in the United States?
It should work anywhere in the United States. We just won't be able to do a proposal for you unless you're in one of our active markets where we have a labor network.
Okay. I mean, that sounds like a really great app. Let's talk a little bit about, some things about things that people can do to their homes if
Mhm.
they're looking to sell. And you sent me a list of some return on investments and some of the ones that are the highest return on investments. And of course, at the top of the list was the kitchen refresh. Why is the kitchen one of the top return on investments you're seeing?
That's just really one of those areas of the home that buyers are willing to pay more for. If they don't want a project, today's buyers want a turnkey move-in ready home, even with interest rates up, even with prices rising. They just don't want to do the project and sometimes don't even have the cash to do so. So if the kitchen is updated, they will absolutely pay for that, which is why you see such a great return. And of course, it's going to be a higher return on a refresh versus a remodel because you're putting less money in, but getting, that high price that sellers will pay for a gleaming, beautiful, updated kitchen. Kitchen for sure, heart of the home. We also see high on the list flooring, actually. If you
Yes.
think about it, flooring can really make or break a house. And oftentimes we'll actually have clients that come to us and say, like, we just want to do a kitchen. But then when they see the existing flooring with it, it looks really bad. So they'll often say, let's do the floors too. So refinishing the hardwood floors gets a really high return on investment as well.
I can
Um,
see that too, because if you're going to move into a house, it's really hard to finish hardwood floors once you're in.
that is absolutely right. And when you're moving, you can put stuff in storage. Another perk of Curbio is like you can wrap the cost of storage or pods into the closing cost too. So like just get it all done, get the floors refinished. If you have dogs like me, it's a must.
Right.
And yeah, you're probably not going to do it once you're moved in. So that's a top one for sure.
And the other one was the basic prep and minor fixes. Was like
Yeah.
270. Maybe I should give some of the numbers here.
Mhm.
A kitchen refresh is 377% return on investment. Refinishing floors is 348% return on investment. That's actually really high. And basic prep and minor fixes is 297% return on investment.
Yeah, so what we mean by the basic prep, it's basically anything really small like handiwork that would it could possibly pop up in an inspection report, or it could just be like electrical updates, just minor fixes. So kind of bundling that all together to get the home moving ready will pay off. It's nearly 300% return on investment. And by the way we calculate this data, and you can read the report online if you're interested,
Right.
is Curbio's done over 2,000 projects across the US, and we've kind of subcategorized all of our work into things like kitchen refresh versus remodel, flooring, basic listing prep, and we've crunched the numbers across all of these projects, and that's how we get this average. But the data that we obtain to determine what the as is price of the home is versus the after Curbio / update price. We
Right.
get that from the real estate agent because they know the market better than us. So we partner with the realtor, and we're able to kind of give confidence to sellers that yes, if you put money into the house, as much as it seems kind of painful as you're leaving, you will absolutely get that money back and more.
Oh, great, great. The fourth one that you had that was high on the list was roof replacement. This one kind of surprised me a bit because I thought, people could, of course, do something with the roof, but I guess maybe just buyers just don't want to be harassed with having to have a roof that has a problem. Is that what that's about?
It's an interesting one, Anita, too. I didn't expect it to be high too, because I've read in my own kind of like research as a homeowner.
Right.
Sometimes people recommend not to do the roof, but yeah, looking at the data, it seems that buyers are more willing to pay more for a house with an updated roof. And my thoughts here are that it's not so much about the selling point of brand new roof, but more around the overall turnkey aspect of the home. Like if the roof's done, They likely did other things to the front of the house too for curb appeal, and it just looks like more turnkey than if a home had, shingles fading.
Right, right. And the other one was the carpet replacement. So the roof was actually 288% you have return on investment. And the carpet with like the floors is 280. And that again goes with, I guess, with the hardwood floors, it's easier to put carpet in, before somebody moves in or somebody wants a clean carpet. I know I don't want to live in a house with a dirty carpet.
No, I think it's the same effect as just the hardwood flooring. Like the carpeting really can make or break a buyer's willingness to consider the home. Like you said, if it's stained and it just looks really dirty, like that just makes the home overall look like, oh, we've got some work on our hands. So yeah, great investment right there to get your carpets cleaned or replaced if necessary.
So here's a question I sort of have. Do you find that people are liking hardwood floors versus carpeted? The reason I'm asking this question is I met somebody that did home repairs. He said, like, today, a lot of people want like laminate, which really surprised me.
Mhm.
Like, they didn't like the hardwood.
Yeah, so the laminate, we have that product in our product portfolio. Like it's called luxury vinyl tile, and it actually can look like hardwood, but it's lower maintenance. So that might be what they're referring to. I think it definitely depends on the part of the country for sure. Like we see in the East Coast, still very much high demand for hardwood floors on the main floor, carpet on the second floor. Then in our markets like Arizona and Texas, you're of course getting that hot climate. So you're going to have tile or terracotta in most of the homes. So certainly a regional choice, but I don't think that the look of hardware is going anywhere. I think that we're just getting smarter about decisions around cleaning and maintenance because while you can refinish hardwood floors infinitely, like real hardwood, they can warp and get mildew in them. And depending on the place you live or the place in the home, like a basement, it's just not practical, even though it's beautiful.
Right, right. What was missing on this list, and this really surprised me, were two things that I thought about. One was the bathroom. I thought the bathroom would be right up there with the kitchen, but it wasn't. And the last one was the curb appeal, like your landscaping and how your yard looks. So can you tell us a little bit about that, what you're seeing with those?
Yeah, I think certainly if you went down the list beyond the top five, those would have a positive return on investment. We do a ton of bathrooms, and curb appeal is often lumped in with other services that we go in and do. I think that for this particular analysis, it just was that there wasn't so many projects that were isolated to just curb appeal or a bathroom. But if I had to look, I don't have the data on me. I would think bathroom would be right down there. It's just kitchen blows everything out of the water because people really do prioritize the kitchen.
Interesting. I find that that's really interesting. People want the kitchen. They really want, they want to move into a house with a nice kitchen and a good kitchen, or a kitchen that they feel like they can maybe work in, cook in, or other
Yeah, exactly.
that, right?
And I think also like kitchen remodels can get really expensive, especially if you're working with like a custom build company. Curbio, we keep our prices really competitive because we get really awesome scale relationships with our suppliers, and we're really just focused on selling the house. So you can get like a very cost-effective kitchen refresh or remodel when you're working with us. But talk to some of your friends and they're spending, 100K on a kitchen. And I think that a lot of buyers are like, oh man, if the kitchen's not redone, I'm not even going to consider the house because when will I get around to doing that? Especially with the price of homes these days, especially first time buyers just trying to afford the mortgage alone. Like it's one of those things where people really aren't willing to live in a dated kitchen.
And are you finding certain things in the kitchen, like people prefer the kitchen to be light versus dark? Are you finding anything like that? Is there no difference at all in how the kitchen itself looks?
I think we're about to see potentially a trend turning point, and I'll explain what I mean. But Curbio in the last few years has absolutely done mostly white kitchens. That there's just a lot of demand for those light, bright white kitchens, shaker cabinetry, and a quartz countertop. But I think we're seeing an emergence more now of like people wanting warmth and a feeling of coziness in their home. So while we're not seeing it in droves, I would not be surprised if our materials team comes out with more wood cabinetry in the next few years. And not the cherry wood of like the early 2000s, but things like oak cabinetry, we're starting to see more demand for. So it's kind of shifting, but in most places of the country, white is still going to sell.
Right, right, right. So white is kind of like the safe choice for a lot of people for the
Yes,
kitchen.
exactly.
This is really interesting data to be able to see, that really, if anyone's going to sell a home, they're going to basically going to have to do some work on the home itself. Service of Curbio, because I love the way you guys come in and just help people to, to be able to do this turnkey project for them to be able to sell, the home for more.
Yeah, I think that it's one of those companies that when you talk to everyone involved, it's a win for everyone and it kind of is like a no-brainer. So, the only challenge is just being able to scale the business across multiple states and continue building demand, because I think contracting is one of those things where a lot of real estate agents already have a contractor they work with. And we're trying to break through to them and show them like how we could be their go-to contractor. And a lot of people kind of view Curbio as like, oh, you use them to do big projects. But earlier this year, we launched, well, actually, it was last year, we dropped any project minimum. So we are doing a lot of smaller stuff now too, which is great.
So why is it that you only work with real estate agents? Why won't you work with individuals?
We work with realtors because it's just, we trust the realtor to determine pricing so that we can make sure that the client is getting, a solid return on investment. We also work with realtors to qualify people that we're working with. We have an inside sales team. They're called home improvement consultants. And if we talk to every homeowner that maybe isn't selling, it would probably be a little bit inefficient. So once you're already working with a realtor, we know that you're selling. And so that's the best timing for us to come in, partner with you and your real estate agent and get the home ready.
So you basically, the communication goes from you to the realtor, then to the homeowner.
So communication wise, there's actually a stream that we use in the Curbio app, whether it's the mobile app or the web app. And it's all real-time updates going to the homeowner and the agent. So the agent often does take a front seat because most really good real estate agents provide more than just showing properties. Like they provide services such as helping coordinate contractors and things like that. So they often want to be in the driver's seat, but the homeowner definitely has access to all the information. They're making the final decisions. And that's why I love our app so much, because it's really transparent and you're getting real-time updates from your project manager.
Yeah, it sounds like a great app, and it sounds like a great way for someone who's thinking they might sell or considering even to buy a home, to go on and to understand some of these things.
Yeah, certainly.
Just as I guess as a review, if anyone's looking to sell a home, kitchen's like something they should definitely look at doing. And the hardwood floors, minor preps, and that's basically what you're saying about the return on investment for that. And your app, from what I understand, will help people to be able to really see what the cost would be for that.
Yes, definitely. And the return.
And the return that they will receive on it itself. I love this. I love what you guys are doing. I think it's really a great, a great service that you're offering homeowners here.
Thank you.
I think it's really great too, because the fact that people don't have to put out a lot of money. Like you don't have to put out that $100,000 for a kitchen in order to sell your home.
No, definitely not.
That Curbio helps people with that to get through that so that they can basically turn it over to you and sell their home. And then you guys basically share on the I guess, what the home sells for. Are you seeing housing going down now? I mean, I know there's a lot of talk about that. Are you seeing the housing pricing going down than it was before? Or do you have any thoughts on that?
We did see a dip in prices nationally, like earlier in the year, but as of I was actually at a conference last week and their chief economist was talking about this, and prices are on the rise again, if not staying stagnant. And so I think the only thing that will really affect the prices will be mortgage rates. We'll see. No one has a crystal ball there. But one thing we're for sure seeing is homes are sitting longer.
Right.
So if they're not updated, they're not selling. We're actually getting a lot of people coming to us after being on the market saying, okay, we're just going to make some updates because we know we can sell our property faster if we do that. And I think there was some anxiety with the mortgage rates rising when people didn't know where they were going to go. They felt, oh gosh, we better sell this house now. But I think they realized in doing that, that that's not always the best way if you want to like move it quickly.
And of course, again, depends on the market, where some markets are, seeing bigger hits than other places.
Oh
But
yeah.
some, of course, rose much higher than other places did, right? So it all becomes, whether it's going to be a correction or not.
Yeah,
I-
like Phoenix, I think I was looking at Phoenix is really on fire. Like those prices are really high and there's even less inventory there than some places. So ton of demand in certain markets and not so much in others. And we're also seeing more demand for single family homes versus condos.
Interesting. But then I read the other day, like Boise has taken a huge hit.
Oh, really? Yeah, because they saw a ton of growth. I think during the pandemic, a lot of people moved there.
Right, right. I read an article on that the other day, that Boise, and I think some places in Utah too, that of course prices were raising, that there were some prices going down there. So whether or not it's like a correction taking place, that could happen, right?
Yeah, no, it certainly could. And I think one thing that's great about the business that Curbio's in is that no matter what the market is like, if it's a hot seller's market, if it's a hot buyer's market, there's pretty much always a constant need to get the home market ready. It might, what the actual scope of work looks like may be different depending on the times, but we've been really lucky to continuously grow through this crazy market, which kind of speaks to the need for a product like this.
Right, right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Maybe you could send me your app where people can download it. We'll put it also in the description.
Yep.
So we can put that in, because I think it sounds like something that, would just be fun for anyone to almost play around with, especially if you're looking to sell your home.
Yeah, it's really fun. And we're constantly, our product team is always iterating on it. Like coming down the pipeline will be some AI tools that will help people visualize the actual look of the kitchen when they update it. So more to come there, but it is really fun to play around with.
Well, great. I'm gonna download and play around with it. So I'll let you know what I think about it.
Awesome. Yeah, have fun with it. Thanks, Anita.
Hey, well, thank you so much for your time today, Olivia. I really appreciate you spending some time again with us and discussing some of these things and telling us a little bit more about the real estate market.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you so much, and we appreciate you.